All right, let's break down the anatomy of a hack. We're not going to focus on the final moment, that big breach you see in the news. No, we're going to look at the critical first steps, the quiet, careful planning that happens long before an attacker ever even thinks about launching an attack.
You know, you've probably heard that old saying a million times. To stop a hacker, you have to think like one. But what does that actually mean? It's definitely not the Hollywood version, with all the frantic typing in a dark room. It's really more about a methodical, almost patient investigation. So, let's get inside that mindset.
Hacking isn't some aha moment. It's not a magic trick. It's a structured process, step by step. Honestly, it's way more like a detective gathering clues and building a case than it is a magician pulling a rabbit out of a hat. And if you want to build a real defense, you have to understand this process.
Okay, so first things first. Let's get a handle on the players and their playbook. We're going to look at the different hats hackers wear, what really drives them, and the basic methods they all tend to follow.
It's super important to know that not all hackers are the villains. On one side, you have white hats. These are the good guys, the ethical hackers who work to defend systems. And on the other, you have black hats, the malicious actors trying to break in. So for the rest of this explainer, we're going to put on our white hat so we can understand exactly how the black hats operate.
So pretty much every single attack, whether it's for good or for bad, follows the same 5-phase blueprint. You start by gathering intelligence, then you gain access, maintain it, and finally you cover your tracks. But here's the thing, the success of the entire operation really hinges on those first two phases, reconnaissance and scanning, and that's exactly where we're going to focus today.
This funnel shape is actually a perfect way to visualize the whole process. An attacker starts really wide, gathering all this broad intelligence during reconnaissance. Then, with scanning, they start to narrow their focus until, bam, they pinpoint a specific vulnerability they can go after. It's all about moving from general information to a very precise target.
So let's dive into phase 1 and see how this all starts. This is digital reconnaissance, or as I like to call it, casing the joint. Think about it. Before a thief robs the bank, they watch it, right? They learn the guard schedules, they find the camera blind spots. A hacker does the exact same thing, just digitally.
Now, the technical term for this whole phase is footprinting. It's basically the process of creating a detailed profile of a target, learning everything about their systems, their network, and yeah, even the people who work there, all to find one potential weak spot. So what kind of info are we talking about here? Well, a lot of the time, it's stuff that seems completely harmless by itself. Employee names, what software versions a company is using, project dates. On its own, this data is just noise. But when an attacker starts piecing it all together, it creates a super detailed map of an organization's entire digital life. Now, this information gathering happens in two main ways. First up, you've got passive footprinting. This is all about being a ghost. Attackers use public sources and never actually touch the target's network. Then you have active footprinting, which is kind of like knocking on all the digital doors. It's a lot riskier because it can be detected, but it can also give you much more detailed info. Let's dig into that passive approach for a minute, because it is absolutely incredible what you can find just by looking. This is all about finding clues that are hiding in plain sight, usually with tools you and I use every single day. This right here is a perfect example of a technique called Google hacking. It's just using advanced search commands to uncover things that were never, ever meant to be public. This search, for example, is asking Google for any PDF file on xyz.com that happens to have the word confidential in it. You would be shocked how often this simple trick turns up sensitive internal documents. And it doesn't stop with Google, not by a long shot. Job postings can reveal a company's entire technology setup. Social media gives away personal details that are perfect for crafting a convincing phishing email. Archive.org lets an attacker see old, probably vulnerable versions of a company's website. Even a simple whois lookup can reveal contact info for key people. This is all passive, all public, and all part of building that roadmap for an attack.
Okay, so once that reconnaissance map is drawn up, the attacker moves on to phase 2, scanning. Now they're shifting from just watching to actively probing. They're not just looking from across the street anymore. Now they're walking right up to the building and methodically checking every single door and window to see if it's unlocked.
So in the digital world, every service that connects to the internet, a website, an email server, you name it, operates through a specific port. The easiest way to think about these is as numbered doors into a computer system. The whole goal of scanning is just to find out which of these doors are open. So how does an attacker check if a digital door is open? Well, they try to start a conversation. It's called a three-way handshake. One computer sends what's called a SYN packet. It's like saying, hello,
You there? If the port is open, the other computer replies with a SYN/ACK, which means, yep, hello, I hear you. Then the first computer sends a final ACK to establish the connection. This quick little back and forth is how basically all internet communication begins.
And as you can see in this diagram, it's a super simple three-step chat. Computer A says hello, computer B answers, and computer A confirms. If a server completes this digital handshake on a specific port, the attacker knows for sure that door is open and some kind of service is listening on the other side. And here are some of the most common doors you're going to find. Port 80, that's for standard web traffic. Port 443 is for secure web traffic. That's your HTTPS. Port 25 is for email. By scanning for these, an attacker can get a really quick picture of what services a target is running and what's exposed to the big wide internet.
But here's the thing. Checking for all these open doors, all 65,535 possible ports, that's not something you do by hand. No way. Attackers use automated tools to do it almost instantly. So let's take a look at the scanner's toolkit.
They use these incredibly powerful, sophisticated programs that can do all this work in just seconds. The most famous and widely used tool for this job is called Nmap, which stands for Network Mapper. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of network scanning.
Now, a tool like Nmap might look really intimidating, but it's just asking a series of simple questions. The ST command is just asking, hey, which doors are open? The O flag asks, what operating system are you running? And SA asks, is there a firewall protecting you? It's an unbelievably fast and powerful way to interrogate a target system. And that's the whole ballgame right there. After just these first two phases, the attacker has a complete blueprint of their target. They know the network layout, they know which doors are open, what software is running, and where the potential weak spots are. All the planning is over. They are now officially ready to launch an attack.
And this brings us right back to where we started. This process, this reconnaissance and scanning, it's happening all the time to networks all over the world. Your digital doors are constantly being checked. So the only real question is, are they being checked by a black hat who's looking for a way in, or by a white hat who's trying to find those weaknesses first and lock the doors before they do?